Hi everyone, welcome to the workshop and webinar series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming operational case study examinations happening in February 2024. And this is the final workshop. So in the previous 7 weeks, every week we have conducted a webinar or a workshop. I hope you gain something out of these webinars and workshops which we have conducted. So in the webinars, we highlighted the technicalities behind the OCS exam, and in the workshops, I've taken you through questions covering different syllabus elements, and on top of that, I've addressed all your questions and concerns. So having done all these things, let's look at what I'm trying to cover in today's session. So first things first, I will be highlighting certain tips pertaining to what you need to do to build a positive attitude as well as maintain this type of positivity on the day of the exam, because it's of utmost importance that you are confident about your skill set. If not, if you have some type of doubt with regards to the answers which you are providing, that will reflect in your paper. And if that is the case, you won't have a chance of passing the OCS examination. So it's extremely important that you have some type of positivity, develop some type of positivity before the exam, and maintain the same type of positivity at your real examination. And on top of that, as usual, at the very end, I will be opening up for a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you can raise them, and I'm happy to address all your concerns. So let's try to figure out what you need to do to develop a positive attitude as well as maintain the same type of positivity on the day of the exam. So before the exam, you are supposed to rest your mind and body. So that's exactly why I've highlighted these things in my webinars as well. You are supposed to stop all your work a day prior to your exam. So let's assume your exam is on the 10th of February. If that is the case, you have to stop all work by the 9th of February. Not the 9th, actually, you have to stop all work by the 8th of February, because a day prior to your examination, you have to start relaxing. Why? Because the CIMA exam is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So if you have to carry out your responsibilities in a successful manner, it's better to be rested. So it's as if you are walking into office on a Monday. So if you were up on Sunday, if you were going through extreme levels of stress on Sunday, then you cannot function properly at office on a Monday. So in order to ensure that you walk into your examination with a positive attitude, with a rested mindset, you have to stop all work a day prior to your examination. So you are supposed to rest your mind and body, and do not refer to any study material, mocks or answer plans, because if you do, whenever a question is thrown at you, you'd remember the last mock exam or the answer which you had gone through, and you'd view each question um, in the similar angle, because you'd remember a previous paper or a suggested answer which you had gone through. So that is not what's expected from you. You need to have an open mind rather than focusing on predictions and whatnot. It's better to be open-minded before the examination, because if you have to function properly as a finance officer, you need to be ready to face any type of question, because by now you would have attempted the 5 mock exams. If you do, you had covered the entire syllabus, so you have nothing to worry about. You have gone through questions covering the entire syllabus. So having done your homework at this juncture, a day prior to the exam, you have to stop all work. Do not go through any mocks, suggested answers, answer plans, or master classes. Instead, solely focus on resting yourself. And before the examination, it's better to start thinking that you're the finance officer of personal best, because if that is the case, if you're operating with this mindset, it's easy for you to attempt your examination successfully and come up with the best type of evaluations. And whenever questions pertaining to KPIs are thrown at you, you can come up with the best type of recommendations. And it's normal for any student to feel negative day or two before the examination. Actually, you might be feeling a bit jittery right now because the exam is just 2 or 3 days away. So in such an environment, it's normal for students to feel some type of negativity. Me as a student closer to the examination, there was a tendency for me to feel pressured. And I can remember, until I did the MCS examination, we did not have case studies. However, those days we had the for each subject, rather than the OTQ papers, those days we had written examinations. So up until the management level, I can remember throwing up on the day of the examination because I was going through so much of negativity. However, from the strategic level onwards, I changed my approach when it comes to conducting preparations. Rather than waiting until the last 2 weeks, I started preparations well before the examination, which enabled me to relax closer to the exam. So because of that, from the strategic level onwards, I scored extremely good marks. Why? Because I had a positive attitude, because I've completed all my work, way before the examination. So it's normal, as I mentioned earlier, it's normal for any student to feel some type of negativity, even if you had done your homework. So, whenever you feel negative, always remind yourself that you had done your homework. You can only tell this to yourself if you had done your homework. That being said, if you had done your homework, whenever you feel negative, uh, you know, constantly keep reminding yourself that you have done your work. And on top of that, you just need 80 marks to pass. You need not, out of 150 marks, you just need 80 marks. That's something like 54%. So even if you screw up one or two subtasks, you still can pass the examination if you have a positive mindset. So whenever you feel negative, remind yourself that you have done your homework and the fact that you just need 80 marks to pass your exam. And it's extremely prudent to be open minded. I've encountered situations where students, they get in touch with me and they ask about the variants which were tested a day or two before their examination. Especially I've experienced this with students who'd book their exams on the second or the third day. As you know, your examination spans across 3 days. So most of the students book the exams on the second or the third day with the intention of gaining an understanding about the variants which were tested on the previous days. So trying to get to know these variances won't help you, because as I mentioned earlier, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a corporate environment. So in a corporate environment, you cannot predict the type of issues the company might face, or you cannot predict the type of evaluations you'd have to provide, the type of recommendations you'd have to come up with, because you don't know until you open your emails, until you log into the system of the organization for which you work at. You are clueless about the type of questions which can be thrown at you. So it's, rather than trying to predict what's going to be tested at the examination, rather than trying to understand the type of questions which were tested on the previous days, it's better to be open minded, especially given the fact that you have covered the entire syllabus. You have attempted 5 mock exams covering the entire syllabus. So that's what your real responsibility is. Other than that, it's just a matter of replicating the same type of answer plans which you had encountered when attempting each of the mock exams, as well as after attempting the mock exams, you would have gone through the master classes, and you would have gone through the answer plans. You would have gone through the suggested answers. So if that in such an environment, it's just a matter of replicating these answer plans or suggested answers when you know providing answers at your real examination. So it's better to be open-minded rather than trying to focus on predictions and the type of questions which were thrown at students who attempted the OCS exam in a previous sitting or on a previous day. So that's what you're supposed to do before the examination. So let's try to understand what you're supposed to do during the exam. During the exam, stick to the exam technique routine. So I've explained what this is about in the third webinar specifically. I said that you need to allocate something like 5 minutes to read through the question and 20 to 25 minutes to develop something called an answer plan. So within this time period, you are supposed to, structure your answer appropriately. And once you have a structure in place, the remaining 20 to 25 minutes should be allocated towards simply expanding the answer plan. So when it comes to, coming up with your fully fledged answer, things are quite easy because you're not supposed to think. Instead, it's simply a matter of expanding the answer plan which you have developed. So at the examination, with the intention of coming up with well-structured answers and with the intention of never running out of time, you need to replicate the same methodology which you had practiced when attempting the 5 mock exams at your real exam as well. So stick to the exam technique routine. As I've mentioned throughout these series of webinars and workshops, I've, actually asked you guys to, keep practicing these answering and time management techniques whenever you are attempting the mock exams in order to champion this technique. So if you have not practiced this technique, then, you cannot implement it on the day of the exam. You have missed the bus actually. If you by now, if you're sitting for the exams in Feb, if you had not attempted or practiced these, answering and time management techniques when attempting each of your mock exams, then all the best to you. You can test your luck at the examination. However, I know for a fact that, most of the students who ended up investing on the premium package had already completed at least 4 mock exams. And whilst attempting each of these mock exams, they have practiced these answering and time management techniques. So, adhere to the same methodology at your real examination with the intention of coming up with high quality answers, well-structured answers. And if you do, you'd never run out of time. Although you might have done the 5 mock exams, you might have practiced the answering and time management techniques, you would have watched all the master classes by now, you would have gone through all the answer plans by now. Although you have done your homework, at the real examination you might feel stressed. Why? Because there could be a certain question which is intended to throw you off your exam strategy. So the CIMA examiner would do this intentionally with the intention of creating some type of pressure or a pressurized environment at your real examination. So your examination, via the examination is not just testing your technical knowledge as well as application skills. The examiner is also trying to figure out whether you are capable to handle exam stress. Because if not, you're not ready to become a finance officer. Because as a finance officer, most of you might be working at your corporate environments. You'd feel some type of stress. So you'd have to encounter some type of stressful environments or stressful situations. So you cannot crumble under pressure. Whenever you are feeling stressed, you need to do something out of it, get out of a stressful situation with the intention of doing your job properly. So the examiner tries to figure out whether you are capable to do the same at your real exam. So, however much prepared you are, there'd be a certain subtask or, 1 or 2 subtasks at your real examination, which are prepared with the intention of, creating a stressful environment. So if you let stress get to you, then although you have done your homework, you'd end up failing the OCS examination. So now we know what the examiner intends to create or what type of an environment the examiner intends to create at the real examination. So if you feel stressed, you need to do something to manage this level of stress. You should not let a stressful environment or a stressful experience affect your performance in the following tasks. So for instance, out of the 4 tasks, in task number 2, if there were 2 subtasks which you are clueless about or which you actually struggled with when developing the answer plans, if you let that thought affect you in a negative manner, if you let that negativity affect you, then your answers pertaining to tasks 3 and 4 will not be well structured as well. Because when you have a negative attitude, you keep thinking about what went wrong in task number 2 rather than focusing on tasks 3 and 4. So you have to live in the present in order to manage these type of stressful environments, because as you know, there's absolutely no point of thinking about the past because you cannot change the past. And on top of that, there's absolutely no point of trying to predict your future because no one in this world can accurately predict what we'd encounter in the next second, the next minute, the next hour, the next day, the next week, and whatnot. So rather than worrying about the future, or rather than thinking about the past, rather than thinking about what went wrong in the past, it's better to live in the present and do everything possible to manage the present, to ensure that you are positive when attempting each and every subtask thrown at you at your real examination. So even if you screw up one or two subtasks, forget about it. You have to keep fighting forward, you have to keep moving forward. If you had attempted the 5 mock exams, you would have encountered what I'm talking about. There will be subtasks which are tough. However, you need to keep moving forward, keep working throughout the 3 hours. And if you do, even if you screw up, 1 or 2 subtasks, you still can achieve a first time pass if you stick to our answering and time management techniques and keep fighting for 3 hours at a stretch. So if you feel stressed, drink some water. It will help you calm your nerves. However, if you are attempting the exam at home, you cannot do it because you won't have access to you cannot have access to anything else rather than your laptop or your computer. So if you cannot drink water at home, however, if you're attempting the exam at an examination center, you can take a water bottle. So if you feel stressed, drink some water. It will help you calm your nerves. And whenever you feel stressed, you should understand how your brain functions. So your brain, our human brain, is divided into 3 main parts. So at the very front of our brain, we have the prefrontal cortex. So whenever an individual, a human being, is involved with rational decision making, the prefrontal cortex comes into play. However, whenever a human being is panicked, there's this part of our brain which is known as the amygdala. Whenever an individual is going through a stressful environment, or whenever someone is experiencing panic, then the amygdala kicks in. When the amygdala kicks in, all the other functions of the brain will cease working, and you'd when the amygdala kicks in, what happens is there'd be an adrenaline rush. With this adrenaline rush, you cannot think straight. Instead, you try to come up with answers which are not well thought out. You try to come up with quick answers or quick evaluations. So whenever you feel stressed, you have to do something out of something to you have to do something about it in order to shut out your amygdala. So how can you shut out your amygdala? By focusing on your breathing. That's the only way to shut out your amygdala. And if you do, then again the prefrontal cortex will come into play. If that is the case, you'd come up with the best type of decisions, best type of evaluations, and whatnot. So as a finance officer, if you are to do your role successfully, you have to think using your prefrontal cortex. Because if you think about a certain situation in the most rational manner, you would come up with the best type of answers. So whenever you are feeling stressed, your prefrontal cortex is not working. Instead, your amygdala is in play. So in order to shut out your amygdala, you need to focus on your breathing. So close your eyes for two minutes and focus on your breathing. You are supposed to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Focus on this process for 2 minutes. And once you do it, you would be calm as a cucumber. If that is the case, you are in a position to again keep moving forward in the correct direction. So close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes in order to overcome a stressful environment. Because if you feel stressed, especially given the fact that you are under exam stress, these stress levels will multiply, and this leads to panic. And when you are panicking, you cannot think anything. You cannot think straight. You'd experience something called brain freeze. So it's extremely bad to experience something called something like brain freeze at your real examination, but it's normal for you to encounter that. You would have encountered similar situations when attempting the 5 mock exams. So, if that is the case, you already know what you're supposed to do to overcome these stressful, situations. That's exactly why I've been telling you guys to attempt all 5 mocks under exam conditions with the intention of encountering these type of negativities and stressful moments before the examination, rather than encountering these issues at your real examination for the first time. Because when you experience these issues for the first time, you'd be clueless about how to handle these type of situations. It needs some practice as well, as I've mentioned earlier. So, you know like just like what you have done when attempting the 5 mock exams, just like what you have done to overcome these type of stressful environments, you are supposed to replicate a similar approach or similar techniques at your real examination as well. And whenever you feel negative, as I mentioned earlier, even during the exam, remind yourself that you had done your homework. If you had attempted the 5 mock exams, then you have done your homework, and remind yourself that you need just 80 marks to pass. So even if you screw up 1 or 2 subtasks, don't worry about it. Don't keep pondering about the past, what you screwed up, or the type of questions where your answers were not up to the required level of standard. Instead, it's just a matter of moving forward, because nobody is perfect in this world. Even though I'm telling you all these techniques, when I was a student, I was clueless about these things. So because of that, I was not an A grade student. I never got full marks for any of my CIMA examinations. However, this is a professional qualification. You're not getting any grades such as in an academic qualification. In an academic qualification, you'd get a distinction grade, a credit grade, a merit grade, a pass and whatnot, but that's not relevant in a professional qualification. All types of students, even a student who gets 80 marks, will be at the same position as a student who would get 150 marks. So your objective is to get 80 or above 80 marks with the intention of passing your exam. So whenever you feel negative, don't think about what had gone wrong in the past. Don't think about the subtasks in which your answers were not up to the required level of standard, because although you think that the quality of your answer is not up to the required level of standard, you never know, because when the examiner is marking your paper, under stress, you'd always feel that your performance is substandard. But when the examiner is marking your paper, if he or she sees a logic in your answer, if it's technically sound, then you'd end up passing the exam. So it's of utmost importance that you feel confident before the examination, especially given the fact that you are attempting the exam in 2 or 3 days time. So you have to be confident right now. And if you're still involved with preparation, try to do everything under your control to finish attempting the mock exams. And when attempting each mock exam, try to do it under exam conditions. And if you had stuck to the answer plan which we have provided, then you need not worry too much, because according to the answer plan, you were supposed to finish attempting all mock exams by the last week. And in this week, you are only supposed to go through the answer plans, so that you revise theoretical knowledge, as well as revise how to develop answer structures, and what type of answer plans you need to develop. So other than that, you are not supposed to do anything else if you had adhered to our study plan which we provided in our first webinar. So give your best shot. Do not feel stressed out. Even when you are feeling stressed out, keep moving forward. Give your best shot at the examination. And it's in order to achieve all these things, in order to maintain this type of positivity for 3 hours at a stretch, you have to be open-minded, live in the moment. There's absolutely no point of thinking about the type of questions which can be thrown at you when attempting your next task. And on top of that, there's absolutely no point of thinking about what went wrong in your previous tasks. Instead, focus on the task at hand. let's assume you are at task number 3, subtask A. Focus on that, develop the answer plan, then move on to subtask B, develop the answer plan. And once the answer plans are done, it's just a matter of expanding your answer plan. So, adhere to these guidelines, keep moving forward, try to keep a positive mindset. Whenever you feel stressed, focus on your breathing, get out of such a stressful environment and keep fighting forward, because if you fight, then chances of you passing the OCS exam is extremely high. Just like in your life, if you keep fighting, whatever adversities you face, if you keep fighting and if you intend to move forward, you'd get there. Because actually, what happens in life is what you tell yourself. So we humans, we do not understand how complex our brains are and what its capabilities are. Actually speaking, your brain does, or the type of things which happen to you, mostly it's dependent on what your brain tells you to do. So you need to get hold, or need to get control of your brain. So tell it what you need to achieve. So in the upcoming 2 or 3 days, manifest a situation where you had attempted the exam in a successful manner. Live in the present, keep moving forward, manage your stress levels. If so, there's a high chance of you passing your OCS exam. All right, so that's what you need to do to develop a positive attitude and to maintain the same type of positivity at your real examination. So having said that, it brings us to the second part of today's workshop. So this is the final Q&A which we are conducting in lieu of the exam window in February 2024. So if you have any questions, you can raise these concerns now. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks. So seems like there aren't any questions. So thank you very much for raising these concerns. I hope I was able to address all without leaving any doubt in your mind. So having said that, I'm happy to say that we achieved an 89% pass rate in November 2023. I hope that you guys will achieve a similar feat at this examination as well, because we have kept in touch with you on a weekly basis. We have shared a lot of technical knowledge, as well as shared a lot of study resources with you. So if you had stuck to the study plan, you'd achieve similar results in your February sitting itself. So when the pass mark was just 80, this individual ended up scoring 117 marks simply by attempting the 5 mock exams under exam conditions, referring to the study material, as well as sticking to the study plan. So, get your mocks done. Most of the students are done with the first 4 mocks. So it's simply a matter of attempting the last mock exam. So get it done today itself, so that you'd have enough time to be involved with revision. And what are you supposed to revise? Just the answer plans. Okay, and you have to stop all your work a day prior to the exam and start relaxing. So if you still want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com, or email us on info@study@tcs.com, or WhatsApp us on this number. On the day of the exam, if you face any issues, don't text me pertaining to the questions which are thrown at you. I'm not going to help you guys, because I'm going to close the OCS WhatsApp group on the day of the exam, and it will be kept closed for the upcoming 2 weeks until your examinations are done. You might encounter technical issues. If so, get in touch with me so that I can help you guys with these issues. And always remember, if there are major technical issues encountered at your examination, you have the chance of doing or attempting another sitting a week later. That possibility is provided by CIMA, because in the upcoming week, the OCS exams are happening from Tuesday until Thursday. But the next week, it's open for the MCS exams. So if you encountered any technical issues, you'd have the chance of attempting another sitting when the MCS exams are going on. So that is a possibility. So if you encounter any technical issues, let me know. Major technical issues, let me know so that I can direct you in the correct path, so that you get in touch with CIMA, let them know about the difficulties you faced and stand a chance to attempt the exam a week later. All right, so that's that, and I invite you guys to keep watching the 3 TikTok videos, because there's a good mind map which covers the entire pre-scene. So closer to the exam, it's of utmost importance that you keep reminding yourself about what's highlighted within the pre-scene document. So keep watching these 3 TikToks, which is a good mind map. Within 7 minutes, you are in a position to keep reminding yourself about the content highlighted within the pre-scene document. So having said that, it brings us to the end of the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS. So thank you very much for joining these sessions. So on a weekly basis, we've kept track of your performance. We have highlighted different tips, techniques, and whatnot. And I hope you gain something out of these sessions. And I wish you all the very best. you know um, have a positive mindset in the upcoming days and maintain the same type of positivity at your real examination. Don't worry about the past, don't worry about what you could not do not worry about the answers which you have provided for your previous subtasks. Do not worry about the future as well. Don't worry about the type of questions which will be thrown at you at your real exam. And whilst attempting your real exam, don't worry about the next tasks and what will be covered. Instead, focus on the present. Keep fighting for 3 hours. It will be a stressful examination, take it from me. There will be subtasks which are not up to your expectations, which with the sole intention of creating some type of pressure in your mind. So you know what to do. Focus on your breathing, keep fighting for 3 hours, and if you do, you'd end up passing the OCS exam. So you have done your homework, you just need 80 marks to pass. So you have done your work, there's absolutely nothing for you to worry. Give your best shot, keep fighting for 3 hours, and if so, you'd excel at this examination. So I wish you all the very best. Take care, and I'll see you at MCS in the upcoming sessions. Thank you very much.